I am Kevin.
I'm Mark. This was a really interesting film.
Yes.
Okay, I fucking loved it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I love this so
What's
much.
your star rating?
5.
5!
Yeah.
Yes!
Okay. Now, I mean,
Oh.
I might just give 5 stars to anything that he makes. Because I'm a sucker for Sion Sono in general.
But this film...
But yeah, this was amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a side we haven't seen.
Yeah, because we have seen the very first short film he made,
which is Love Song.
With Love Song, which is on YouTube.
There are similarities.
Yeah, they're very similar.
It's so rough.
But it's really interesting to see what's the earliest film we've seen after this. Is it?
It's Love Exposure.
Is it Love Exposure?
Which is 2007.
Okay, so yeah, we gotta see Suicide Club and all the other a lot of early stuff too, because this is really interesting.
I feel like Suicide Club will be way closer to Love Exposure.
Yes, yeah, definitely. That definitely seems more mainstream than this.
But I want to see some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
Like
oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, because this is incredible.
Yeah.
Like it has the playfulness of Sion Sono. It has the experimentation. It has but it's very different than his later stuff.
I guess
too. It's much more rigid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's much more rigid.
Yeah.
And I guess it's not as obsessed with perversion as it is with just
time.
Oh
my gosh, yeah. I mean, you could tell it's there, but it's like
yeah.
Like it's not at all the forefront.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we both highly recommend this.
This is quite the experience.
Yeah.
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 Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I have some recommendations.
Okay.
If you like this film, I would recommend Cleo from 5 to 7 by Agnes Varda.
Good idea. Yeah, good idea. That's a good one.
Because that is very highly ranked on my list. I think I like this one better for sure, just because of the play. It does things that I've never seen.
Yeah,
and we'll get
I also really like Cleo too. But yeah, I mean,
this is
I mean, that also just comes down to our taste.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, there's a free copy of this film on YouTube, but for the best quality, there's you can rent it for $3.99 HD.
How important do you think it is to have a good quality for this?
I think it's pretty important. You don't
in general, it's always important, I would say.
Yeah.
But for certain films, it's more important than others. Right?
Yeah.
So
this one isn't as important.
It's not 100% essential. It would be with Spacey that we just watched.
Yeah. But the film itself is very grainy.
Uh-huh.
But I think something about seeing the film's inherent graininess is better than seeing the blurred pixels.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
some of the YouTube subtitles had some misspellings.
A couple of misspellings.
So I wonder how accurate those translations were.
Yeah.
But still, the language is minimalistic enough.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I mean, as English speakers, I'm sure we miss a lot of the subtleties that are perhaps there in the poetry. Because he's also a poet.
Yes,
so,
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd say, I mean, if you're looking for, what kind of genre this is, we probably should have said this earlier. It's definitely avant-garde. It is...
so the main theme of this film is the passing of time.
The passing of time, meditation on time. And it plays with the audience's perception of it by having a character that tries to perceive it.
Yes. It's about, the active perception of time.
Yeah.
It's a very accurate description of the film. Yeah.
In a way that's super meta.
Very meta.
It is the most meta
love
shit
that.
I've ever seen.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh
my gosh.
It's so wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to get into
I have one more recommendation.
Okay.
I would recommend a very recent Sion Sono film, which is Anti-Porno.
Really?
Because
I haven't seen this.
There's the only reason, and this is a very fascinating reason, is that Keiko's room in this film consists of red and yellow as the main colors, and the main room in Anti-Porno is red and yellow.
Interesting.
So it's the exact same color.
Oh, that's sort of the case with this color palette of Love Exposure as well.
Kind of.
Yeah. It's I don't know. He just really likes red in general.
Yeah, red.
That's just like his own taste.
But the room in Anti-Porno is actually red and yellow. And the moment I saw the very first red and yellow room, I'm like, Anti-Porno. It's so striking.
Interesting. And
that's like, I think the most obvious connection with a later... There's another one that I can't say without spoilers. But I'd say if you want to see what modern Sion Sono does with his classic themes of perversion and like feminism, but also glorification of like, I guess, sexuality, that's Anti-Porno, but with the same type of color palette as in this film. If you want like a juxtaposition, then I would recommend Anti-Porno. Anyway, spoilers.
Was there anything else that we should say before spoilers?
I don't think so.
Okay, let's get into spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay. Whew. Wow.
Yeah.
Where should we even start?
Where do we even start with this? I think, oh my gosh, like what he does in this, by making the audience hyper aware of the film, he's able to use sounds, inanimate objects, and just different framing, as well as, man, even down to like how long the presentation of each day of the week is.
Yes, I mean that's nothing that's new in film. But the way he presents it to you makes you hyper aware of it.
Yes.
Yeah. By putting a clock in your face.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
He tries to put as much clock.
Yeah. Putting a clock in your face and having Keiko count.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But the way the film begins, it basically tells you what the film is, and but by doing so, the entire your mental activity for the rest of the film is set up. So in that way, the film immediately dictates how you watch the movie. By saying, "This is me," and she starts counting with the clock.
Yeah.
And you kind of start.
Something I'm so curious is this is in the later in the film I started to doubt this because of how playful it got, but it seemed almost semi-documentary. I mean, made me wonder how non-fictional this is. Like I wonder, like considering since this is an early film, I don't know enough about his early self to know this for sure. But I'm wondering if this is like his girlfriend at the time. No.
He immediately says what it is.
Yeah, you think?
It's the passing of his professor. The very first thing.
Oh, it's dedicated to his teacher.
Yes, the teacher who just passed away. And I think the Keiko's father, who died of cancer in the movie a year before.
Oh wait, that's the professor. The Keiko is the professor, you think?
No. I'm just saying that Keiko's father, who died of cancer, who she steals the bone of, is the direct a direct manifestation of his memory towards his teacher.
You think?
Yeah, and I think in a way this is maybe the way Keiko processes time is a way of dealing with grief, and that might be reflective of how Sion Sono dealt with grief after this professor, because for him to just dedicate it right off the bat, it seems to be a very, very intimate.
I'm hasty to jump to conclusions about stuff. I'm actually wondering if it might be beneficial for us to right now look it up, so that we can talk about it more.
That's actually the reason why.
Yeah.
Because when I looked up, I read a brief synopsis.
Oh, you've read? Okay, I've read nothing.
And I remember reading about grief.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you read a synopsis. Did it mention anything?
Like a letterbox blurb. Like after dealing with the grief of her father, Keiko decided to perceive time more rigidly.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's brought up at the forefront.
Well, I wonder though, is Keiko a real person who is the real daughter of the professor, or is it a fictional character?
Well, the actress's name is Keiko.
Oh, that's true.
That's her name.
Well, I mean, that could be Sion Sono being playfully meta.
I doubt that the end credits are
fake.
I think the end credits are all real. We can look it up on Letterboxd.
Let's look it up because I'm really curious. I mean, we can make the choice to be like.
I think we're
just let the film speak for itself, but I'm just so curious. Oh wow, so much Showa in our friend circle.
Yeah.
I'm unsure if Letterboxd will tell you whether or not this is. What I'm curious if this is non-fictional. Okay, so
It's not. I don't. It's there's no way it's non-fictional.
Well, I mean, it could be that Keiko. Well, or like it might be a mix, right? Because it could be like I'm wondering, like, is this her actual apartment, or like did they rent it out because they liked the way it looked? Or
I doubt this is her actual. I mean, everything is so meticulous.
So we're looking up. The only other film that she's listed in on Letterboxd is what looks like
an anime film
made in 2016.
Yeah, she plays a voice.
In something that's not very popular.
Yeah, I don't think that matters. I don't think Sion Sono wants it to matter.
I don't know. I'm just so curious.
Yeah,
okay,
no,
if
I
think
think
it's not look it up.
Yeah, no, I think everything.
You can, I guess.
Everything else is staged, but the soul of the movie is definitely what Sion Sono is thinking, because it does feel so personal.
Yeah. Well, like, I guess the reason I'm so curious is like when they say things like, "Oh, I did this and this and this and this today, and I have like this nipple on my right breast, and like I." Have dermatitis on my leg.
No, this mole on my right breast.
I have a nipple on my breast. No, this mole on my breast. And like like just all the little details. I'm wondering like if the creative process was let's write the details in their fiction, or if it's like, hey, let's make a movie based on real facts.
I'm pretty sure anything that dealt with Keiko's personal like stuff is like actually based on Keiko the actress.
Okay, because then it's the question of, oh, did she actually steal the phones of her father? Because then this becomes an interesting sort of performance art piece, if that's the case.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's.
And I also know, I know this is the case in China. I don't know how it is in Japanese culture, but showing bones in Chinese culture is like a sort of a taboo thing.
Oh well,
right?
Everything's taboo in China.
Well, right. But,
actually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you know anything more about what in Japanese culture?
In I'm pretty sure in Japanese they're way more free about everything.
Okay.
It makes perfect sense because you see how cinema evolves in both countries.
Right.
And China is just government.
Okay. Well, that's a different topic.
Yeah. Yeah, I think whether or not it is real or fictional is definitely an interesting point. Mm-hmm. But I kind of want to just really talk about how the film deals with time and stuff first.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Regardless of whether it's real or fictional.
All right.
I find it really cool that after being all hyper aware, the skipping scene starts happening. And at first, I was really hyper aware, but it got to the point where both the moving I started to focus on other things.
Near the end of the film?
Yes.
Where she's skipping?
Yeah, with skipping scene, yeah. Yeah. It got to the point where I feel like it's so deliberate, because for the entire movie, you're so focused on time. And then first comes the news montage, where I feel like that's the moment I came closest to forgetting about time. Mm-hmm. And just because it is the most entertaining, it's probably the loudest part if you look at like a wave graph of it, is because there's the most audio in it. But
well, that's debatable, but go on, sorry.
Right, but the point is there's the most activity. Mm-hmm. There's the most activity, there's the most dialogue.
It's the most stimulating because it's funny.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's unexpected.
Exactly, and it keeps on holding your attention, but like basically I felt like I stopped keeping track of the time, even though there is still a clock on the screen that constantly reminds you of the seconds. Mm-hmm. But that's the closest I came to like watching a regular film when I'm watching this film. It's the closest I came to like not processing the film like the way Keiko sets it up at the very beginning. But then what happens after that is very interesting. So what happens after that? There's a little bit of other stuff, but then the skipping scene starts. And of course, it instantly slows the film down. And, I at the beginning, I'm like, wow, this is so slow. How far long is this going to go? But then after a while, I guess I kind of had the minimalist music effect, where when you listen to something that's like a Philip Glass opera for a long time, it just gets to a point where you just become absorbed in it.
As soon as I started watching this, I was immediately reminded of Morton Feldman.
Ah, yeah, interesting.
I think that's probably the strongest music parallel I can think of to the philosophy of this film. Which Morton Feldman, if you're not involved in that sphere of music, is someone who makes very long, quiet music that lasts for like somewhere into like an hour or 4 hours, or that's that's very much about the experience of becoming aware of passing of time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this film has the benefit of telling the audience at the beginning what it wants to do.
Yeah. It also has the strength of having somewhat of a narrative arc to keep you engaged as well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was actually very close to tears at the end.
Really?
With the skipping scene, because the way I interpreted it was like, just sort of like, it became, like in the beginning, it was very much about like dealing with something hidden.
Uh-huh.
Which in retrospect is probably something around grief or like some sort of pain, right?
Right.
But then the skipping scene was like such a sharp contrast of that to where she's skipping in the street kind of joyfully for such a long period of time.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And with like the classical music playing, which is like totally a Sion Sono thing to do, right?
Oh my gosh. I love hearing him use a smaller chamber piece instead of like the big symphonic.
Yeah, because in his later films, it's much like the big orchestral like
or the emotional
suite. Yeah, but this is like lower quality. Like it's like the same effects, but it's
It was also really cool hearing her pitch of voice. It kind of
Well,
it kind of juxtaposes with the
I think culturally, I mean, we're just Americans who don't know much about Japan, so we're a little bit uninformed on this. But like, I wonder if that exact way of singing the numbers is something that's sort of integral to like something that a lot of children do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think absolutely.
Yeah, and like Japanese, it's not a pitched language, but I wonder if that pitch specifically is kind of special.
Maybe
for that counting.
Maybe
I have no idea.
Maybe people just like when Japanese people count, they just gravitate towards that type of pitch. That's and in a way, that's kind of like it makes a film sort of like a palindrome because she actually when she starts counting, the first time you hear it with the clock, she speaks it. The very beginning, and the second time she sings it.
Did she ever go back to speaking it?
She goes back to speaking it once the snow scene starts in the skipping scene. So at the beginning it's speak, sing, and then near the end you get sing, speak.
Oh,
in that order.
That's cool.
Yeah, but obviously one of them is much more drawn out than the other.
Yeah,
the skipping stuff. Yeah, and it's so cool to see because you can kind of see how Sion Sono directed her. Just like sometimes he just puts the camera and tells her to probably just do something, but towards the end of the snowy skip scene, you see her starting to play around with her steps a bit. You see her starting to kick some snow up. You see her starting to do certain things where like once
it came across as her like at one point she like genuinely tripped, it seemed like.
Right, exactly.
Which was like whenever you see something on camera that you can tell as an audience member is more of a genuine action. That's that has a lot of power to it.
Yeah, and just the simple gesture of skipping by the second. You know, when you usually skip, it's faster than 1 second. So by doing that, there's an inherent awkwardness to it.
Awkwardness, but deliberateness.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then like I remember us laughing when like she skips by this one person who looks what? Yeah. Also, I was reminded of this is. There's another scene in another Sion Sono film where someone takes out the trash.
I know, exactly. I was thinking of that too. Yeah. I was just going to mention that, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where she also traverses a long distance, too. But in a very different way.
Yeah, for very different reasons.
Yeah.
I guess we don't have to spoil that.
No. Another parallel is the very beginning. When the camera's just on her face, and she barely blinks, and then she sheds a tear halfway. It reminded me of the scene in Love Exposure.
It's okay for me to say
the First Corinthians scene.
Okay. That tells me.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
she's crying in that scene too. So.
She cries, but it's just the way.
It's not all like this, but like.
It's nothing like this. But if we're tracing early Sion Sono and later Sion Sono, that's probably one connection we can make. Just because I was thrown into such a foreign language compared to what I'm used to with Sion Sono that my brain instantly just started drawing connections, and the first connection I made was like, oh, this is kind of like that scene in Love Exposure.
You know, the connection I made
was
actually not a film. It was it's a performance art piece from Maria Abramovich called "The Artist Is Present," where this is kind of a dumb comparison, considering that
I don't think anything is dumb.
Well, okay. I don't mean dumb like it's not significant, but like dumb like it. I don't know. The pieces where she sits in a chair and then someone else, there's an empty chair in front of her and you can sit and you basically look at each other for however long you want to.
Okay.
Yeah. In that context, it's in real life.
Yeah.
This was like done in the MoMA for 5 months.
And you have the audience's choice. The audience has the choice in the performance art piece.
Yeah. In this, though, it's like she's looking at a camera and she's looking at you through a screen.
Yeah.
So it's like she's not actually looking at you. She can't see you.
Mm-hmm.
But we can see her.
Yeah.
And that sets up the film to be meta, of course.
Yes.
And, well, at least because we know Sion Sono, we know it's going to be meta.
Yeah.
Or at least we know.
Yeah.
Because we know that he likes to be meta.
Yes.
But, yeah, it sets up sort of expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's very interesting to see his arc because the more meta films of Sion Sono that we're used to are his more modern ones like Tag or Why Don't You Play in Hell.
Why Don't You Play in Hell, yeah.
Yeah, but if you look at the Hate trilogy, for instance, which we've seen all three, Love, Exposure, Cold Fish, and Guilty of Romance, they're not that they're more narrative focused.
Yes.
Like there are 1 or 2 lines of meta.
Yeah, they're not experimental in the same way.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see him start from meta, go into the narrative stuff, and then sort of end up in a new form of meta.
Yeah.
In the more modern day sense.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
I had something else to say. Yeah. The first one, the first time, you see the opening scene where you just see her face staring at the camera was not as powerful as when she was writing with the pen. And then she just slowly looks at the audience.
That was awesome.
God.
Yeah. That was awesome.
It was almost draining.
Yeah.
It was just it was very powerful. She writes, my name is, crosses it out.
Man.
Deliberates, and then just stares at the audience.
Yeah.
While the clock is ticking.
Yeah. That made me think of things like the female gaze and like...
Which Sono is always interested in.
Oh my god.
By making by making the main character a woman, he's already...
And also a very pretty woman. Also, she always had makeup.
Uh-huh.
Until the very last news scene.
News, yeah.
When, not nude, news.
I know, I said...
For Sion Sono, that could be a possibility too.
Hey.
But, where she's like wearing no makeup. And it's like just a very honest, like, this is her face.
Thinking back on it, that scene is the only one where I think of it and kind of gives me chills just thinking about it.
Yeah. I think the how it's cut. Is the form of it is how that makes that strong,
right? And
because the moment before is one of the strongest humorous moments I think, where it's like the humor has peaked and peaked and peaked and peaked and it reaches sort of its highest peak,
right?
And then boom, right where you least expect it, everything is just cut off, and
it's also that combined. Yeah, not only we hear it reaches a point where instead of hearing the we hear the news theme, the intro theme. Dun 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 dun. Repeat.
Yeah, let's put on repeat.
Times. Yeah, which catches off guard, and I think that's like kind of like the high point. But then yeah. But then to completely mute everything, but also to show the time on the clock, to show the time of day. 9:55, 10:55. And immediately I was thinking, even though this is a fictional film, I was thinking, did she sit there for an entire hour? That thought appeared in my mind.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I suddenly believed that she might have actually sat there for an hour, just staring and was she staring at the screen? I don't think so. I think she was staring just a little off of it.
What scene particularly?
The scene where she's just silently with no makeup.
She also seemed to be hiding a smile or something.
Oh, you're right.
It was very cryptic.
It was almost Mona Lisa level.
Yeah.
Of how much.
Yeah, she was her lips were twitching in a very odd way that I couldn't really interpret.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the news section, it reminded me, because of it's symmetrical, it's shot from the center. It reminded me of a Wes Anderson moment.
You know what it reminded me of? Poppy.
Yes, yes, you're right. You're
like
right.
as soon as she like put on the really big wig, and then like her outfit kept changing. It's like, this is so Poppy.
You can totally do like have Poppy read the script but in English.
Yeah, if Poppy could act that.
These are the numbers I called today.
These. Oh my God.
There was very good tomato and cheese. Yeah, but the way she says it, there's still a kind of moe Japanese girlish tone to it.
Yes, It's not news reportery.
It's not news reportery.
It's very much like, this is Keiko. This is not a news reporter.
I wouldn't even describe it as cold. It actually seems kind of warm. It seems like she's genuinely...
It's playful.
Yeah, it's playful. That's a very good way to put it. And one of the coolest things, on the second day of the news, I think that's the first one where she starts uttering numbers. So there's a mirror next to the clock. On the second day, the mirror is all watercolors. Rainbowish watercolors. Instead of seeing a mirror reflection, the mirror is just pure rainbow.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, it's so great. I don't know what the significance is. I think it's just to distinguish the day by day and to add some more color. But I thought that was really, really cool. Yeah. We could go back to that and look at it, even though this film was so pure. I don't even want to browse through it.
Yeah, I definitely I'm not often tempted to look at like other interpretations of films, but I'm still interested in like the non-fictionality.
Really? Okay.
Which I probably won't do until tomorrow if I do it, but because I do want to just sit on the film as well.
Yeah. I'm trying to think more of the first half of the film and what there was. I like how the film began with probably Sion Sono saying action. Yeah. And then the face.
Oh, something I've never seen in a film before that I totally want to steal if I ever make a film. Yeah. Speaking the credits instead of showing the credits. Yes. What? Like, is there any other film that has done this that you know of?
I'm sure there's some
French
New Wave.
Like, he could have stolen the idea from someone else.
Right.
But that's such a cool idea, and it's perfect for this film. That's like all about the hyper awareness of time.
Right. Yeah. And I love the countdown after the credits. Oh my gosh.
Man, the comment about soon the lights will turn on and everyone will go out for a smoke. Oh. Made me wish that we were actually in a cinema.
Really? Yes, exactly.
Like, how magical would it be if we were viewing this in the context that it was actually
Imagine the Dryden, the Eastman House.
They need to show this.
Yes, they do.
This is the perfect kind of like, it's an hour, it's short. Yeah. It's like, it's demanding, but it's not like 4 hours of like your day. It's not grueling. It's not grueling. It's not totally the most accessible, but it's like
I can see someone who's not into art house film think that is grueling.
Like if this is not your cup of tea, you would hate this. Yeah. Like I mean, it's challenging enough to where it would just not but I mean, if being on the internet, you would just turn it off. But you're in a theater. I mean, okay, imagine you're in a theater. You went to this. You're like, I don't know, like just to play mind games and like if you're in a theater, the actual experience of being in a theater, like in order to like turn it off and make it stop, you have to leave. Yeah. Which is a very very harder to do than if you're on your computer and you have total agency over what you're watching, right? Yeah. So like it's different for us because like when we start a movie, we know we're gonna finish it.
Of course.
Yeah. Or if we both hate it, we know we can turn it off. Yeah. But yeah.
I wish I saw that. Yeah. I wish some theater. And it's surprising how this is not mentioned. Like I bet Frau Steingrober, who teaches the avant-guarde film class. Yeah. You know what the rating is on Letterboxd? It blows my mind.
What is it?
3.4.
Interesting. I mean, that it probably is that low because of the subset of people who just don't enjoy long experiences like this, or at least are put off by them. That would be my guess.
Meanwhile, so I guess, but meanwhile, there are other avant-garde films that just get rave reviews. Like Daisies has a 3.9.
That's true. And still, though, like for a film to start with, like how long was that? Like 2 minutes of just her looking at the camera. I mean, I found that to be immensely powerful. But for someone who would find that a waste of their time, like I can easily see why that would put them off.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, this is like top 3 Sono for me.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
I'm
surprised.
It might be 2, just right under Love Exposure.
You know, that it might be the same for me too, which I was not expecting.
Exactly.
I was expecting to appreciate this.
Yes.
And just like, or like not like it at all.
Yeah.
Being that it was so early.
I mean, you have to think. I looked up his age when he made this. He wasn't that young. He was 36.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So most of his most well-known films were made during his 40s or 50s. Yeah. But this is clearly... I enjoy how this is a 1997 film, but it looks older. I actually really like that.
Yeah. Yeah, he probably is using an older camera.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
stuff.
But something about that is just...
Yeah.
It makes it more magical.
It does, yeah.
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 I wish there were a documentary made about how he and Keiko, like behind the scenes.
That would, yeah. It may exist.
It may exist.
I mean, I'm given that we haven't done too much research into this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. Is there anything else? I feel like there is. This is so much.
After every video we've made, like as soon as we stop it, we think, oh yeah, we could have talked about so and so, but which is always the case.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Is there other stuff in the middle? Oh yeah, one of the first powerful shots, one of the shots that I think is the most poetic for me is actually, it was one of the Mondays. It's just the red and yellow room, and the only thing that's moving is the water vapor that's coming out of the cup.
Yeah.
And that's during that part of the movie. I feel like the main point is to see how other things, like the awareness that other things are happening even though you're not paying attention to them. And the time is passing on for everything. That's where you see the shot of the goldfish. And then we see her like kind of playing with the goldfish.
Then she looks at the camera again, right?
Yeah. She looks at the camera for a little bit. Yeah, but yeah, the scene with the water vapor is just, like, is the water vapor sentient? Does it know that it's like?
Wait, really? That's what you thought?
Well, these are the questions that I ask. You know.
Oh, well, question. I mean, with something like this, you're gonna have your own questions.
Yeah, when you're so introspective, you start thinking.
Yeah, the questions I had were like, that has been put there recently because it's still smoke.
Right. Oh, yeah. That.
And too. Like, what does that suggest for what time it is and what Keiko is going through?
Yeah, what Keiko's going through, what she's doing.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love the shot of her looking out the window, and then it fades into the white, the time of day.
Was there a fade?
No, it shines.
It's a sharp cut, but yeah.
It's not a sharp. Well. It's not a sharp cut.
There are no fades in this film, are there?
Well, no, it's a very quick but gradual.
Oh.
That's why I was like, did you hear me inhale?
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't
really?
notice that detail.
Oh man, there's a very clear...
I remember your reaction. Yeah. I thought it was just because it was like a really bright white.
No, there's a very clear distinction because later on he uses the same white, but it's a sharp cut, and it's totally different.
Okay, I missed that.
Yeah, and he does the same thing because it's like it fades into the time of day, under a pure white background, and then she's still staring at the window. And then the white appears again, but then she's still staring at the window. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
There are like long segments of her staring at the window, but the white would just appear sporadically in between.
Yeah. You mentioned before that like there's more feminism in his later works. I wonder how much though this is a feminist statement in itself.
Right.
Given that
there's a Jean Diamant quality to it.
There's a Jean Diamant quality, yeah, and there's also like this is in the 70s, and again don't know the culture of Japanese culture in the 70s.
No, this is in the 70s.
But like
this is supposed to be modern day. She was born in the 70s.
When was this film made?
97.
Oh, this whole time I was thinking it was made in the 70s.
No,
I'm so dumb.
This came out same year as Boogie Nights. Can you believe it? That's why I'm saying this old quality has.
That's what's so offsetting to me, because it's... Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so 90s. Okay, so, like, if this isn't... Alright.
Yeah.
So, obviously, like, she isn't, like, some housewife like someone in Jean Diamant in the 70s would be.
Right.
I mean, she could be, but, like, it's more likely that she has a job and is a modern Japanese woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But... I'm assuming 1973 is her real birthday.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
But you know what's
Yeah.
the strangest coincidence? Guess what year Jean Diamant was released? 1973.
Oh.
I'm gonna double fact check that just in case I embarrass myself. Oh shit! It's 1975. Nope.
Oh, okay.
Nope. I'm glad I fact checked that. I'm too confident in my movie release years.
That would have been pretty funny.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Is there much else?
Oh, did we recommend Jean Diamant?
We did not.
Okay.
Should we?
If you haven't seen this is a film that's pretty classic in the avant-guarde circle by Chantal Akerman.
Chantal Akerman.
It's what's the full name?
Oh my gosh.
It's the name is the address that she lives
Yes,
on.
Jean Diamant, 23 Quai du Commerce, 1080 Brussels.
Yep. His memory's better than mine.
1080p Brussels. No.
Yeah, it's the first film she ever made. She was 23, I think.
She was, I think something like 23.
Yeah. And
immediately made her the most important female filmmaker.
Yeah,
at Cannes.
It was shown at Cannes, and everyone had was it mixed or was it positive?
It was very positive.
It was
like
very
everyone
positive.
wanted to show it.
Really? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It was. She made huge waves when she made this film, and you'll see why if you watch it.
Yeah,
it's.
We'll just say it's 3 hours and 30 minutes.
And it's.
Yeah,
and it really challenges temporality in the same way that this film does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I think that's a good place to end it.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Saying anything more might be overkill for this. Yeah.
Right.
Have your own opinions on this film. Don't just take what we say for granted.
Right.
Yeah, and watch it. It's great. If you get to the end.
Yep.
Yeah, of this video.
Cool.
All right, great.
All right. See ya.